I stared at my phone, unable to tear my eyes away from the photos flooding my Facebook feed. There they were, my in-laws, my husband's siblings, their kids, and even distant relatives, grinning on a pristine beach in Florida. The matching family t-shirts they wore made my stomach churn. Anderson Family Beach Trip 2024. Apparently, being in Anderson for 8 years wasn't enough to earn an invitation. Too hard to plan around, my mother-in-law had told others when they asked why we weren't there. Between Emma's soccer and Lucy's dance, it was just too much. Despite the fact that both activities had ended weeks ago. I'm Kate Anderson, 34 years old, and for nearly a decade, I've been trying to live up to my husband's family's idea of perfection. Mike, my husband, was at work when I stumbled upon the hidden vacation, probably unaware that his entire family was off having fun in Florida without us. I scrolled through more photos, my nieces building sandcastles, family dinners by the beach, sunset cruises with everyone raising their glasses. Each image felt like a deliberate reminder of how we were excluded. Our girls, Emma, 8, and Lucy, 6, would have loved it. The group chat, which I wasn't meant to see, accidentally shared by my niece, revealed the truth. They had been planning this for months. My mother-in-law, Sandra, had organized everything, making sure to schedule around everyone's commitments. Everyone except us. We can't have Kate complicating things again, she had written. Remember last Christmas when she insisted on leaving early because Lucy wasn't feeling well? Or Easter when Emma had that soccer tournament? It's just easier this way. I set my phone down and walked over to the living room window. Outside, Emma and Lucy were laughing, playing in the sprinkler, unaware that their cousins, whom they adored, were making memories without them. Mike entered, loosening his tie, and saw the look on my face. Kate, what's wrong? I handed him my phone. His face darkened as he scrolled through the photos. They didn't. Mom promised she'd stop doing this. Doing what? I asked, though I already knew. This wasn't the first time Sandra had planned family events without us. There was last year's Christmas brunch, we only found out about it through photos. The 4th of July barbecue we weren't invited to. Each time, there was an excuse, a misunderstanding, or the assumption that we'd be too busy. Mike ran a hand through his hair, a nervous habit from childhood. I'll call Mom now. This isn't right. Don't, I said, surprising myself with how calm I felt. I had a better idea. For years, I had tried to please Sandra, shifting our schedule, apologizing for imagined slights, and working to prove we weren't the difficult ones. But as I watched my girls play outside, blissfully unaware of their grandmother's games, something clicked inside me. I grabbed my phone and began making calls, first to my sister, then to my best friend, Sarah, and finally to my parents. Within an hour, I had a plan. What are you doing? Mike asked, watching me book flights on my laptop. Planning our own vacation, I answered, one that doesn't need your mother's approval. My sister had a beach house in North Carolina she rarely used. My parents were eager to spend time with their granddaughters. Sarah and her kids were always up for an adventure. In just a few days, we had our own trip planned, with people who actually wanted us around. 3 days into the Anderson family vacation, Sandra's carefully curated Facebook posts started showing cracks. Photos of empty seats at dinner, comments about missing people from their traditional beach games, my nieces and nephews commenting on how much they missed Emma and Lucy. That's when the text started. First from my sister-in-law, Jenny. The kids keep asking where Emma and Lucy are, Mom's struggling to explain. Then from Mike's brother, Tom. This doesn't feel right without you guys, Mom really messed up. Finally, from Sandra herself. I hope you're not upset about the vacation, you know how busy you are with the girls' activities, we were just trying to make it easier for everyone. I didn't respond to any of them. Instead, I shared our own pictures, Emma and Lucy building sandcastles with cousins from my side of the family, sunset picnics with people who celebrated our kids' activities, game nights where no one was considered too difficult. Having the best time with family who love us exactly as we are, I captioned one photo. It wasn't petty, it was just honest. The responses came fast, likes, comments, and many from extended Anderson family members who didn't even know we'd been left out. Sandra's perfect narrative started to crumble. Why aren't Emma and Lucy here? My young niece had asked at their fancy beach dinner. They're way more fun than this. The video of her question, accidentally posted by my sister-in-law and quickly deleted, said it all. Mike supported me fully. Maybe it's time everyone saw mom's behavior for what it is, he said, watching our girls chase waves with my side of the family. We're not the problem here. By day 5, Sandra's carefully planned beach vacation had started to unravel. I knew because the frantic texts kept coming, each one more desperate than the last. The kids are miserable, Jenny wrote. They keep watching Emma and Lucy's beach videos. Mom's trying to organize another family photo, but half the cousins won't participate unless all the family is there, Tom added. The video Olivia shared by accident really captured the meltdown. Sandra was in the kitchen, her face red with frustration, while Madison threw a tantrum. I want to play with Emma and Lucy, Madison screamed, tears on her face. Their vacation looks more fun, they even get ice cream for breakfast. They didn't, of course, it was frozen yogurt. Watching Sandra try to explain why excluding her grandchildren was the right choice made me realize how deep this problem ran. Meanwhile, our North Carolina beach trip was everything a family vacation should be. My parents taught the girls how to fly kites, Sarah's kids introduced them to boogie boarding, and no one complained when Lucy wanted to stop and collect seashells, or when Emma spent hours building sandcastles. This is how family should be, Mike said one evening, wrapping his arm around me as we watched the sunset. The kids were dancing on the beach with my sister, their shadows stretching as the light faded. That's when Sandra called. I could hear her frantic voice through the speaker. Michael, this vacation is a disaster, the kids are impossible, Tom and Jenny aren't speaking, and your father's back is hurting, we need you here. Mike put the phone on speaker and squeezed my hand. No, Mom, what you need to understand is that family isn't about perfect photos and controlled chaos, it's about love and acceptance. Of course I love you, Sandra protested, that's why I planned this wonderful trip. For everyone except us, Mike interrupted. You left out my wife and daughters just because they didn't fit your perfect image, because Kate actually lets the girls be kids, not turning them into props for your ideal family portrait. There was silence on the other end. After a long pause, Sandra replied, but Kate's so particular, the girls have too many activities, and she insists on sticking to their routines, which means she's a good mom, Mike said, his tone calm. She supports their passions and ensures they're healthy and happy. I know she does. And I'm grateful for that. My eyes welled up as Mike spoke again. Look at the vacation you planned, Mom. Is anyone really enjoying it? From what I'm hearing, it sounds more like a staged photo shoot where no one's having fun. At that moment, we heard Madison in the background whining. I hate this stupid beach. I want to go to Lucy and Emma's beach. Sandra sighed, sounding defeated. I just wanted everything to be perfect. Mike finished firmly. You can't control everything, and when you realize that, maybe you'll start to truly see your grandchildren for who they are, not who you want them to be. When he hung up, we sat in silence, watching the waves as children's laughter echoed from where they were roasting marshmallows with my parents. You know she'll turn this into her drama, I murmured. She'll play the victim. Mike nodded, probably, but right now, I don't care. Look at our girls, Kate. Look at how happy they are with people who love them without conditions. The next morning, my phone buzzed with notifications. Sandra had posted a dramatic message, casting herself as the victim in a family misunderstanding, but the comments didn't go as she hoped. Half the grandkids seemed to be missing from this perfect vacation, one relative commented. Those sweet girls and their mom deserve so much better, another added. Even Jenny chimed in, maybe if we included everyone from the start, this wouldn't be a disaster. By midday, Sandra's post was gone, replaced by a private apology. Maybe I rushed the planning. We all miss you. But it was too late now. We were busy making our own memories, building traditions with people who loved us just as we were. Emma and Lucy were thriving, surrounded by love that wasn't conditional. That evening, while the girls put on a beachside talent show with their cousins, Mike's phone buzzed with a text from his father. Your mom's realizing what she's lost. The vacation ends tomorrow, but the real changes are just beginning. Mike showed me the message and then glanced at the girls, who were taking dramatic bows. Think we should give her another chance? He asked. I watched Lucy tackle her cousin in a big hug while Emma led everyone into an elaborate final pose. Maybe, I said, but it'll be on our terms this time. No more illusions of the perfect family. Mike nodded. Sometimes losing something makes you realize its true value, and standing your ground earns the respect you deserve. The fallout from the beach vacations rippled through the family. When we returned home, social media was filled with two very different versions of the story. Sandra's staged photos with forced smiles and matching outfits, and our raw, joyful images of messy, sandy adventures. Mom's not handling the comparison well, Jenny told Mike over coffee a week later. People keep asking why Emma and Lucy weren't there. She's running out of excuses. I overheard from the kitchen, but I could hear the tension in Jenny's voice. Do you know what Madison did? She took all the family vacation photos off the fridge and replaced them with printouts from your beach trip. She said she wants to go to the fun beach next time. Mike responded thoughtfully, maybe that's exactly what Mom needs to see. The real shift came at the monthly family dinner, normally hosted at Sandra's, where she controlled every detail. This time, some family members couldn't make it, so we suggested meeting at a restaurant. Sandra arrived last, visibly shaken. Her eyes widened when she saw Emma and Lucy already settled in, showing their cousins seashells from our trip. Oh, she said, her voice tight, I didn't realize everyone was already here. We didn't want to be too difficult to plan around, I said quietly, just loud enough for her to hear. Her face turned red. During dinner, Sandra was quiet as her grandchildren gathered around Emma and Lucy, eagerly asking them to tell stories about their beach adventures. Even the adults seemed more relaxed, swapping childhood beach trip memories. Remember when we used to just play in the sand for hours? Tom reminisced. No schedules, no matching outfits, just fun. Sandra sat silently, pushing food around her plate as her perfect family illusion slowly crumbled in the face of real connection. Finally, when dessert was served, she spoke. I think I made a mistake. The table went quiet. Sandra Anderson didn't often admit mistakes. The beach trip, she began, taking a deep breath. I thought I was organizing the perfect family vacation, but looking at your photos, seeing how much fun you all had, she trailed off, searching for the right words. I realized maybe I've been focusing on the wrong things. Emma, with her usual innocence, looked up from her ice cream. Does this mean we can all go to the fun beach together next time, Grandma? The tension broke, laughter filled the room, and I noticed tears in Sandra's eyes. I like that, she said softly, if your mother will help me plan it. And there it was, the closest thing to an olive branch we'd ever get from Sandra Anderson. Later that night, after the girls were in bed, Mike and I sat on our back porch, reflecting on the evening. You know she's still going to try to control things, I said. Mike nodded, probably, but now she knows she can't exclude us without consequences. And maybe, just maybe, she'll learn that imperfect moments can be the most perfect of all. The next morning, a text from Sandra arrived. Can we meet for coffee? Just us. I agreed, and 2 days later, I sat across from my mother-in-law at a local cafe. She looked different, less rigid, more human. I've been looking at your beach photos every day, she confessed, not because I'm upset, but because I see something I've been missing, joy, real, unscripted joy. She pulled out her phone and showed me a photo, Lucy laughing, covered in sand, while Emma tried to bury her cousin's feet. It wasn't a perfect shot by Sandra's standards, but it was perfect in its authenticity. I want to learn, she said simply. I want to be part of their lives, the real version, not just the posed one I've been trying to create. It wasn't a complete transformation, but it was a start. Sometimes that's all it takes, just a crack in the perfect facade to let the real light shine through. The next family beach trip was being planned with input from everyone, and though Sandra would still occasionally fall into her old ways, she was trying, and that's all we could ask for. Because in the end, family isn't about perfect photos or carefully curated moments, it's about love, acceptance, and learning to let go of control in favor of real connection. Emma and Lucy's seashell collection still sits on our mantle, each imperfect piece telling the story of a vacation that changed everything. Not because it was perfect, but because it was real.